Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. So go ahead and get on your mat, and I will just give a few minutes just to kind of wait for people to log on. And again, super sorry about the delay. Like I said, I teach yoga. I'm not much of a video person. And it seems like technology is just not my friend. I swear, it's just not my friend. It's not my friend. So, let's see. Hi, Derek. Hi. So, hopefully some more people will get on. Again, I'm sorry for being late, and I'm trying to get lighting to work in here because it's just a super dark studio anyway. But anyway, so we can go ahead and get started if we like. And I'm gonna go ahead and take off my self-love bracelet that I got from Zen Crystal's amazing place. And I don't want to throw this because I love it. Oh. All right. So, oh, and then just saying, no. Move Athleisure, they're like such an awesome company and you know, very supportive, and so they gave me this outfit today or yesterday, and it's super cool by PE Nation. I forgot who the top was by. I forgot. Oh, she's gonna kill me. But they are doing by appointment. You can still go in there and shop, and you have your own self. Like they'll have a person that stays 6 feet away from you. But that is there to just help you, you know, find the best awesome fit for you. So I really love them. So anyway, I just wanted to give Move Athleisure a big shout out because cool outfit, you know, just saying. So all right, so getting started, you know, stacking your vertebrae and just kind of taking a minute to kind of get centered. Getting on your mat, I'm going to do one more thing real quick. It won't let me turn off my Bluetooth. All right, just trying to get a little bit of music going. So hello everyone, again, my chaos name is Bridget Gibbs, and also I wanted to shout out to Maxine for doing my amazing hair. If anybody needs a realtor, we all need to kind of support each other as much as possible right now. So if there's any way that you can support anybody in your community, or you all know that we, you know, do certain things, so that's a great way to kind of connect and help out anybody who's kind of a little broke right now. So anyway, so go ahead and stack your vertebrae, eyes closed. I will walk you through this, so make sure you close your eyes. You don't need to watch me through this. And so hopefully you're familiar on the breath of fire. Remembering it's an upregulating breath. We're turning on your nervous system, get your body ready for practice. Also help clearing out your nasal passages because we're breathing in and out through our nose the whole time. The inhalation comes automatic. I mean, you don't do practice, but then, so we're pressing all the air out through our nose, and the inhale comes automatic. So if you snot, it's okay, just flick it over to the side. So just taking a second just to root down onto your mat. And then inhale, big belly breath, ribs are coming out to the side. And then exhale. And then inhale deeply. And exhale, 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 exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale, 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 exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, 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 exhale. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale and exhale. Take your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your belly. And just taking a second to connect with your mind, your heart, your body, your breath. And anytime we put our hand over our heart, we're kind of letting our nervous system know that we're okay. And it's always nice to know where your breath is coming from. So is it coming from upper chest or lower belly? If you don't know what I'm talking about, my last class went into depth about it. And this also helps us connect our energies, because we are putting off more energy than all the cell phones in the world combined from our heart. So make sure that you're putting off a good frequency. So when we're thinking negative thoughts, we're processing negative emotions, and we're sending out negative frequencies. But when we're thinking positive thoughts, we're sending out positive vibes, and we're getting positive back. And that's always a blessing. May this yoga practice heal and strengthen your body and your mind. May this yoga practice heal and strengthen your body and your mind. So open your eyes and come to your downward facing dog. And so just take a second just to kind of find where your body's at today. It might be a little stiff or sore from sitting. And taking a deep bend in your knee, really sending your sits bones up to the sky. And then straighten out your legs. Kind of try to press your heels down towards the mat as much as you can. And you don't need your legs completely straight here. You can have a soft bend in the knees, but try to press those heels down. So there's no, it doesn't matter where you are. A lot of people start here. And eventually you can start to lower down. And then pull your shoulder blades down and back, lengthening in your spine. Trying to find stillness here. And then inhale deeply through your nose. Open up your mouth, lion's breath. Inhale deeply through your nose. Open up your mouth inside out. Woo! Try to keep that same breath, trying to double your exhalations. And then step to the top of your mat and just grab opposite elbows here and just kind of forward fold. Take a deep bend in the knee. So really kind of help your lower back today. And then inhale, rise all the way up, palms pressed together. And then now pull your shoulder blades down and back. Breathe. Really root your heels down into the mat. Lift your toes up towards your face. Squeeze your legs together. Engage your quads. Reach up towards the ceiling. And then pull your shoulder blades down and back. So make your mountain strong. And then just give me a little back bend here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. And then exhale, step back to your half push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. And so that's what we call a vinyasa. So at half push-up, inhale upward facing, exhale downward facing. So I'm just gonna call that because I'm gonna get your heart rate going pretty quickly here. And then I want you to learn how to calm it down. So we're gonna go quick. So when I say vinyasa through, that means half push-up, inhale upward facing, exhale downward facing. So do it with me real quick. Half push-up, inhale upward facing, exhale downward facing dog. That's a vinyasa through. So heels together, bend your knees out wide, step or jump. Inhale, flat back, exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms pressed together. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back, and vinyasa through. Exhale, go down to your half push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Heels together, step or jump. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms pressed together. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, vinyasa through. Come on. Inhale, flat back, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your heels together, bend your knees out wide, step or jump. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms pressed together. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, step back to your half push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Anchor your left foot at a 45, right leg comes up. Step between your hands, warrior one. Sink, lower, breathe. And then one exhalation all the way down, vinyasa through. Anchor your left foot, right foot, left foot step between your hand, warrior one. And then really kind of squeeze everything forward. Exhale all the way down to your half push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your heels together, bend your knees out wide, step or jump. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees deeply, touch the floor, and reach up. Give yourself a little micro bend and sink lower. Breathe. Sink lower. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, step back to your half push-up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now I want you to take a few breaths here. And so your heart rate should be up. Stay in your down dog. Your heart rate should be up. And I want you to physically and mentally try to slow it down. So close your eyes, mouth closed, and just start breathing in your nose for 4 and out your nose for 8. Or in your nose for 3 and out of your nose for 6. So slow your heart rate down. Right leg comes up. And step your right leg through your hands. Come up, warrior two. So make sure you're pulling that knee out. Shoulders are over your hips, they're not forward. And then we're gonna reach forward and wait, hold on. Hold on. How are we gonna do this? Nope. We're gonna just reverse our warrior. And then we're gonna straighten out that front leg, squeezing the legs together. So hinge all the way at your hips. Hinge. So we're really trying to find that point of compression. Keep pulling your hips forward. And then taking your hands down to your block or your shin, or your toe. If you can grab your toe, then I want you to lift back up. Trying to get the feeling that somebody's lifting you up with your left hand. Gaze is towards your left fingertips. Bottom hand reaches forward, breathe. Coming back to warrior two. Elbow comes on the inside of your knee, pressing your knee away. Arm reaches up and over. So it's like one solid ramp from your heel to your fingertips. Coming back, warrior two. And then circle your hands down, framing your foot, and then pop that left heel up. And then just taking your body off your thigh, reach forward, breathe. And then go ahead and come all the way up to your crescent lunge. And then hover that back knee and straighten, hover and straighten, hover, popping up into your warrior three. Make sure that hip squares down to your mat, so take a second. Left hand comes in front of your right foot, and then very slow and controlled twist. Very slowly, taking your gaze up towards your right hand, and slowly taking that right hand down. So take a second to stack those hips for half moon. Very slowly taking your gaze up towards your left fingertips. Come on, challenge your mind, challenge your body. When we're focusing on not falling, we can't think about anything else. So great. Step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Step your right foot back parallel with your mat, coming up into your warrior two. And then reach forward, reversing your warrior, keeping that bend in the front knee. And take a second to straighten out that front leg. And then hinging at the hips, finding your point of compression before we take it into our spine. So find that hip first. And then, if we need to, then we'll bend the spine. And reaching up. Again, getting that lift. Pulling your hips forward. Option two, reach your bottom hand up and forward. Come on, you got this, breathe. Woo! And then coming back to your warrior two. Elbow comes on the inside of your knee, pressing your knee away, up and over. Coming back up into your warrior two. And then circling your hands, framing your foot, popping your right heel up now. So this is about the right length that you should be at your crescent lunge. And your heel should be popped up, back leg should be straight and strong, no lagging in that, because we're trying to build all the strength around your knees, all the joints, and your ankles. And then reaching forward, trying to take your chest off your leg. And then coming up into your crescent lunge. And then hover and straighten. Hover. This time you're not going to watch me, you're going to pay more attention and straighten. Hover. And then pop up into your warrior three. Remember, that's forward and up. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Squaring that hip down, coming forward. Right hand goes down towards the mat. And then twist. Slowly taking your gaze up towards your left hand. Woo! Giving your brain nothing else to do. Slowly taking that left hand down. Now watch my hips. So they're forward now. And now I'm really trying to stack them. Really stack them. Get time to press your hips forward. And then slowly take your gaze up towards your right hand. See if you can test yourself. Grab your ankle and then try to kick. step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Good job. Woo! And then take your feet about hip width distance. Reach down, grab your big toes. Inhale, look up, pull up. And then as you exhale, just hinge your body forward. Take a deep bend in the knees, so have your chest on your legs if possible. And then engage your core to kind of keep them there. As you just more than anything, start to lean forward. And then just make sure your shoulders aren't up here as earrings. Pull them down. Give your head and neck some space. Bending your knees, taking your fingers off your hips, and then slowly release. Coming up. My phone just died, and it will probably take forever to charge it. I guess it didn't actually get plugged in, so I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna finish because I think I'm recording this. So I think I'm recording it. Right. Are you being recorded? Okay. Looks like my other camera is frozen to my butt. Yep, technology loves me. Oh. Alright, so stepping that left foot back, so right foot is forward, left foot is back, and then make sure your hips are forward, and then just grab opposite elbows here. And so then make sure you're externally rotating that back foot, so externally rotating, firing up those deep six muscles. So if you ever take your leg up to a wall and then externally rotate them, those are the muscles that we're trying to turn on. So you should feel those firing up on the wall, because our glutes are more important than people realize, all the piriformis stuff, all that greatness. And then hinging at the hips, leading with the heart. Your gaze is a couple of inches in front of your toes. Keep lowering down. Make sure your hips don't go cattywampus on you. So you really got to keep those legs squeezing apart. And then taking your hand on the outside of your foot, other hand on your low back, and twist, looking up towards over your right shoulder. Again, making sure those hips don't sway one way or the other. And you really got to engage those leg muscles. Your quad muscles should be just fired up. Your glutes, everything. Nothing should be relaxed except your face. Breathe and twist. And then step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Take your feet about mat width distance, maybe not that big, but close. And see if you can go ahead and step all the way on your wrists. And just kind of massage them with your toes. And then inhale, look up, pull up. And then as you exhale, just kind of leaning your body weight forward. Turning your head yes and no. Maybe swaying side to side. And then very, very slowly taking your hands out, bending your knees deeply, taking your hands up to your waist, and then slowly coming up. Yes. Step your right foot back behind you. Again, externally rotating that front foot, but your feet are forward. Both feet are forward. Your back foot's angled out just a little bit. And so I'm internally rotating that back foot and externally rotating, and then ripping my mat apart, grabbing opposite elbows, leading with the heart, hinging with the hips, So make sure your top part is forward too and squared, and you're pulling back in those shoulder blades. Lean forward, breathe. And then very slowly taking your hand on the outside of your foot and twist. Really fire up those legs and twist. Step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Give yourself a good rock and roll. And then slowly inhale all the way up, palms pressed together. And so imagine that you're rooting your heels all the way down. And then you're engaging your quads and just kind of pressing them down, pressing your hips forward, engaging your core, and pulling your shoulder blades down and back. And then arms reach up, right arm comes underneath left. And then make sure you pull those hands away from your face. Your shoulders, or your elbows come up like they're coming directly out of your shoulders. They're not down here. So they're up, hands away from your face, and then pull back in the shoulder blades. And so from all that rooting down in your legs, your right leg's gonna come up and over and wrapping around as you sink down and back and not forward. So we're sinking down and back. Breathe and focus. And then slowly release, switching sides, and I'll show you the front version. So left arm comes up and under, and this is my not so flexible side. Woo! I've done this a little too many times today. But your left arm, and then left leg comes up and over, and then twisting. I'm gonna do it this way. And then sinking down, really squeezing those legs and hands and arms together again, pulling those hands away from the face, pulling back in the shoulder blades. The more you squeeze and engage and tuck, the more strong, the more balanced you'll be. And then slowly release. Good, good. So take your right hand behind you like you're hitchhiking. And then reach back and grab the inside of your foot, and then just take your knee back down. So knee is down, and then palms are up, and it's acting like you're against a wall instead of leaning forward. So if we were, I'm gonna do it this way. So if we were leaning forward like this and kicking, we're more of an arrow, like a fallen arrow. So we're dancer. So dancer, palms are forward, chest is forward, and then you're kicking. Both hips are forward. So we're really kicking into that hand, finding that push-pull that we always see and find in life. And breathe and kick more. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then slowly release. Switch sides. And so again, we're kind of hitchhiking, grabbing the inside of that foot. And chest is up and forward. Like a big peacock chest. Yes, encouragement. And then kicking that foot back. So make sure that hip doesn't come out to the side of the leg. So that's why we want to start with the knee down. And then kicking back. And so each inhale and exhale, kicking a little bit more, breathe. And then And slowly release. Good. Take a big step out. Hands on your waist, inhale, look up. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. And again, just taking your weight onto the front ball mounds of the feet. And so, new challenge for next week. So our chaturanga arms, our half push-up arms, our almost everything for arm balancing is our half push-up arms. So now start to walk your hands. If you can touch the ground, start to walk your hands through. Of course, I'm going to give different challenges, but just try to walk your hands through and then try to pull your chest through. And so if you're there and you can walk your hands back where your palms are still touching the mat, then you'll start to bend your knees. And so from here, you're just kind of creating a shelf, sitting back onto the back of your legs. And then maybe you take some weight into this left arm shelf and your right leg starts to come up. So maybe you can kind of play around with that, shifting your weight. And then eventually both of them will come up and then you'll start to straighten your arms, but we'll go there later. But just finding a shelf. Woo! So start trying to work on that, and then again, we're just going to take those legs back down, coming back, and then just taking your hands up onto your waist and slowly coming up. Good job. And so taking each hand on the inside of your knees and just kind of pressing away. So just kind of like you're chilling out here. And then twist, right shoulder goes in, and then twist looking up over your left shoulder. Try to pull back that left shoulder as much as you can. And then twist. This should feel real yummy. And then twist. And twist. And then just sink down into your flying iron horse. So really try to get your shoulders stacked up over your shoulders. Toes are angled out towards your mat. Sorry, this is like my 4th class today. Hands to prayer center. Right, come up onto your right toes, tippy toes, breathe. And down. Coming up onto your left toes, breathe. And down. Coming up onto both. And hold, 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 and down. So come into your yogi squat and taking your knees and pressing your knees out. Right hand comes in front of your right foot, in front of your shin, and twist. And so if you're okay here, another option for you is you could try to start reaching back and binding now and trying to grab that hand. Or you can even just start walking the shoulder back and just start pulling it back. So anywhere that you can find space and breathe. And then back to center. Left hand comes in front of your leg and your foot and twist. Again, don't let that knee pop in. Pull it out. See if you got the option over here, or just play with it. Breathe. And then come back to center. You know what's coming. Hands are down on the mat. Coming up onto your tiptoes. I'm going to show you a forward and then a side view. Forward and then a side view. Since my other camera is frozen on my booty. Sorry guys. And so coming up onto your tiptoes. And then as I lift my butt up in the air, I'm squeezing my knees into my armpits onto the back of my triceps. And then I'm leaning my body weight forward where it looks like, I'm going to crash my head into the ground, but you're not. And then you'll slowly just start to lift one leg up, maybe two. If you fall, get out and get back in. So side view, I'm here, come up on my toes, lean forward as I lift my butt up, Arms on the back of your, knees on the back of your triceps, not on the outside. That's a different pose. And so coming forward and then coming up, taking your heels together and hold. If you fall, get back in and hold. Come on. Come on. Come on with me. Come on with me. And slowly release. Good job. Woo! There was a pose I was going to have y'all do, and now it just escaped my brain. I know. Believe it or not. What was it? Well, dagnabbit. Oh, and so from your yoga squat, sorry. And so taking that right leg out and just kind of hinging over to your left side, hands to prayer center. So this is one I think is skipped a lot in yoga, and I definitely am guilty of that. But it's a good one, it's a bad one and a good one. I don't like it. I really don't like this one. So it's probably why I skip it. So switching sides, coming from now to your right. And then switch. Kind of really gets in that groin area. As you can tell by my face, it's not my favorite pose. It's usually the ones that we don't like the most that we tend to try to avoid. And actually, action cures fear. So if we could try to hit those poses head on and not even think about it, the better we are off, the better off we are. And so again, standing forward, and then try to pull your chest through one more time. And then slowly release, walk your hands forward, and then just kind of pull, let your body kind of pull back. For a wide leg down dog. And then slowly release, left hand right in front of your face and twist, looking up at your right hand. So try to keep those hips from twisting. So try to pull them the opposite direction as you're twisting. And switch. So see how I've got that push-pull? So I'm pulling my body this way, and then I'm pulling my body that way. Breathe. And then slowly release. Go ahead and come down onto your knees. And then just taking both hands down onto your low back, make sure your hips stay underneath over your knees. And then just start to lean back a little bit. Ooh, my back's not wanting me to do camel today, so I'm not gonna do camel. I'm gonna listen to my body. So you're just gonna keep pressing your hips forward. You should always listen to your body when it's telling you, Nick. And then slowly release. Go ahead and come down onto your mat, onto your stumache. Taking both arms out. And again, now take your left leg up and over and just kind of allow it to kind of hover. Trying to let go though. Breathe. And then switching sides, taking that right leg up and over. I just love this one. This one's really nice for a low back release. And then just switching sides. Whoo! What is the deal? Ouchie. So take your hands down by your side, if you can, down by the side of your ribs, and take your toes kind of together and just kind of press up a little bit. Pulling your shoulder blades down and back. And then slowly release. Interlace your hands behind you, taking your toes together, and then lifting up into your lotus. Lotus, yeah. And then inhale and exhale, lift higher, breathe. And then slowly release. And just give me a little windshield wiper here. And then slowly taking your hands back down. Go ahead, ouch, and come onto your back. And so take your hands underneath your low back if you have low back kind of weakness, because you should be able to push that low back into the mat. So this kind of helps if you have a little bit of low back weakness, or if your back's kind of hurting like mine is right now. And then you're just going to take your feet forward and then start trying to tuck your elbows underneath your back. So kind of like we tuck our elbows when we're going up into shoulder stand. So you're just going to try to kind of tuck those elbows if you want, and then try to come up onto the top of your head for fish. And then just see if you can maybe lift your feet up into a boat leg and then a fish top. Get it, boat fish? Okay, sorry. Breathe. Go ahead and lower those feet back down. And then slowly remove the elbows out from underneath your back. And then go ahead and take Supta Baddha Konasana. And I know I don't use Sanskrit normally, but I love that word. So just soles of your feet together. Just kind of allow your pelvis to kind of reset a little bit. Slowly release, and either take frog or pigeon for just a few minutes, and then we're probably going to end in legs up the wall today. So I know I have a pretty late class, so I'm usually trying to wind you guys down, which most of my classes are revving you up. So if you're going to take pigeon, you'll just start to take that leg in front of you, trying to get your shin as parallel with the mat as possible. Mine will never seem to go there. So just as high up, your leg might be down here, that's fine, but just try to keep your knee where your knee is facing forward towards your mat. And then just start to walk that back leg back forward, and then try to get your hip to kind of square forward. If you're having trouble, a lot of times you can take a blanket or a block and put it underneath your right hip. And so see how I kind of had to pull that heel back, and there's no shame in that game. So just make sure this hip is coming forward, and then just slowly claw your arms forward and lower down into your pigeon. And so pigeon is one. So stay here if you're in pigeon. If you wanted to go into frog, you pigeon stay. Notice in your pigeon though, because a lot of times we are holding on and we're trying not to let go because we think that something is going to like pop out of place or something and we let go. So try to notice that and try to check in and try to cancel that out as much as possible. And you might need to check in quite a few times. So for some people, for frog, you can fold up your mat like this, and that helps with the knees. So I have a no ACL in my right knee, and my MCL is sprained from a major ski accident, but I still prefer the concrete, just because if we can get our knees on the concrete, we're starting to build up almost like cartilage, like or like calluses like we do in our feet, so that way when we walk too much, you know, like we step on rocks and all that stuff, it doesn't hurt as bad. Same with your knees. So I don't use anything under my knees personally, but that's a personal preference. just so it allows my hips to open up even more. But you want to also make sure that your legs aren't coming in too much and they're not going out too much, and that they're flexed. So because we're kind of working on ankle mobility as well. So a lot of times in a lot of poses, the ankles can keep us from the pose, and we think it's either strength or we're not flexible enough, but it could just be our ankle mobility. And so in your frog, you want to be 90, 90, 90, and then maybe you can take a block or a blanket underneath you, and then you'll just lower down. And so if you're in pigeon, go ahead and switch sides. And then my frogs, I want you to go ahead and stay there. So I'm going to kind of show you a side view of frog. So my hips are coming directly out of my knees are coming directly out of my hips, and then my heels. So I look like a 90, 90, 90 frog. And so play back and forth. So if you come more forward, does it feel like your hips are going to open more, or if you go more back? So just kind of play with your frog and find the place where it's the most uncomfortable, and that's probably the correct pose. And so my teacher used to tell me, when you're in the most difficult pose in frog and you feel like you can't hold it anymore, that's when it starts. Oh, he was wonderful. No. And so just trying to, again, notice when you're clenching, because a lot of times we'll clench up in our butt or our hip flexors. And so just notice that and try to let it go. And I hope you pigeons heard me to go ahead and switch sides. And so again, if we can kind of find a point of relaxation, our body will kind of open up at a crazy, alarming rate. Because if our body does not feel safe, it will not open up. So just keep breathing and allowing your body to open up. Whether you're in pigeon or frog, it doesn't matter. If I could just get my athletes to understand, if they would just breathe correctly, their hamstrings will just magically let go. So much of it has to do with your breath, has to do with your nervous system. I know that if you've ever come to one of my classes or you've ever watched me on a class like this, you know I never talk about breath. But I cannot stress to you guys how important your breath is for your nervous system, for your vagal tone, for your heart rate variability, for everything that you need in order to be healthy and have a agile heart, which is actually good for you. You want an agile heart. We want an agile nervous system. We want our nervous system to be able to react to something, like if a truck was coming for us, we could jump out of the way of that truck really quick and then literally go back to grazing or eating or doing whatever we were doing, and that we saved our life, but then we were able to quickly go back into our parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest. So important. You have no idea. And that's what we're learning in yoga as well. And so as gracefully as you can, try to come out of your frog. Oh! Woo! Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Yep. There's no really graceful way to come out of that one. And you pigeons, go ahead and slowly come out and do whatever hip thing that you need to do to kind of, maybe you just kind of roll your hips out a little bit, side to side. Woo! And then hopefully you have a wall in your house somewhere. If you don't, that's okay. If you have a block, let's see, hold on, let me get a block from over here. So if you have a block, or if you just have a big book. So here, I've got a big book. And so if you don't have a wall in your house, you can always just take that block, and I like mine to be up straight, and then I just kind of find a spot where my sits bones, not really my sits bones, but like probably like the middle of my sacral iliac joint. where it feels like your legs are just hanging. You're not actually having to hold them there. It just feels like there's a string just kind of holding your toes up. So if you don't have a block, you can always try to get a book, or just, there's a lot of things you can get. This book's a little small, but you can still kind of put your legs up on it and just kind of find, again, that point where you're not actually holding your legs up and grab, like it's just, I don't know how it works and why, but it does, and it's awesome. I love legs up the wall. And then if you have a wall, just take your booty as close to it as you can get. Again, no graceful way to do this. And then just go ahead and just kind of take a minute in your legs up the wall, and then we're just going to do like 1 or 2 really quick more stretches, so about 2 more minutes of stretches, and then we'll go into our pre-bedtime Shavasana. So just kind of, again, just kind of sinking back and just kind of letting everything go here. And then if you're on your block, go ahead and get off and just try to do a quick little straddle leg, since we're gonna try for a new pose this week. Every week I'm going to challenge you with a different pose, because if we're not growing, what are we doing? We're done. So I choose to try to grow every day. And so, like I have to tell a lot of people, it's not about the pose, it's not about the pose, it's not about the pose. It's about the process. It's about the process that it took you to get into that pose. It's about the stories that you had to quit telling yourself that why you couldn't do that pose. It's about the strength. It's about the struggle. It's about all of that process that got you into that pose, and then you hold that pose. So it's like, even when you actually nail a pose, you're still not in the pose. So then we're finding growth in that pose. We're finding, where can we find more space? Where can we get that push-pull at? And so even when we're getting into a pose and we're holding it, we're still trying to find some more space. We're still actually pressing and engaging muscles sometimes to find space. So our next class, I will show you exactly what I mean in a twisted chair pose. That's probably one of the best ones that I can show you exactly what I mean. And so just breathe in here. Just allowing those legs to drop down as your nervous system relaxes. So I always tell people, from like a hamstring and a body and muscle point of view, most of us probably couldn't get into the splits. Or it might take us, a while to like start trying again, but I've got some pretty muscular guys that come in here and they tell me all the time I can't do the splits. And so nervous system training, so like from just a muscular and all that point of view, no, getting into the splits, they were like, there's no way. But if they will listen to me and let me work with their nervous system, I can usually get them in the splits within a minute and a half, and they freak out. But you have to let your body calm down. You have to learn to not clench, because you feel like something's gonna like pop out of place. And you've got to learn to just trust your body. Believe me, it's more intelligent than you realize. And so when you can actually do that, you can get into the splits in a nervous system standpoint quite quickly. But it's all about the breath. It's all about the quieting of the nervous system. And so if you're normally in my studio, I would put a cold rag over your head. And we'd have some calming music and lights and all that stuff. But hopefully you guys can do some of that at home, and very soon we can start to be connected again. But think about how blessed we are that we can actually connect online and we can still feel like we're part of something. And I don't even know if y'all can see me down here at all or not. That's how great I am at technology. But I just want you guys to kind of finally sink down, quieting the mind, quieting the breath. Don't try to breathe any certain way right now. Just try to breathe normal. If a thought comes to you, recognize it as important or not, and then swipe it away. Give your mind and your body this time. Shavasana. And you can always come out of that pose to get into a normal Shavasana if you'd like to. Woo! I hope everybody has an amazing evening. I know that I love you and I'm proud of you, and we will eventually be so much more healthy. I feel like this thing that we're going through obviously is not great, but at the same time, I feel like it's giving us the opportunity to wake up and to realize what's actually important in our lives, not what shoes we have, what house we have, what kind of car we drive, but the people in our life, the fact that we're healthy and alive, the fact that we can take a little bit of time to get the things done that have been affecting us and staying on our mind. And so maybe we can take some time to learn to meditate more. We can take more time to come to our mat. Even if we just take the time to breathe correctly and just stopping the head trash, the whole stories that we keep telling ourselves. Or, you know, I used to say all the time, I'm so mad at myself. I'm so mad at myself when I would do things, or I'd go party, or I would just didn't get something done, and it just affected, you know, it really does. It's like a, what do you call it, like a cascading effect. And I just used to be so horrible the way I talked to myself, and learning how to stop that, and just loving yourself. Like, you know, like we think about self-discipline and, you know, it's horrible, it's something bad, like it's negative, but no, like think about it more as like it's your self-love, like you're loving yourself, you're taking the time for the most important person in your life. And I'm sorry that is you. You know, I know people maybe think that that's selfish, but you really are the most important person in your life. You're the only constant in your life. Your kids will come and go, your husband and wife will probably come and go, and if they don't, they could, you know, I mean, you're only constant. So please get to know who you are, take care of yourself, learn how to breathe correctly, and learn to take time for yourself. And I love every one of y'all.